Trump in military school when he was a young boy. And let me turn this light on. And they said of him, they 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 labeled the video Trump the Bully is how it was labeled. Trump the Bully. And I didn't know he went to military school. I didn't. But they said he did. And it came from PBS Frontline. PBS Frontline. This is how they labeled it back then. Trump the Bully, how childhood and military school shaped him, the Choice 2020 from. They actually did a video. I don't know if you all saw that on PBS, Public Broadcasting System. He does want to ban that. He does. Yeah. Good morning. I used to watch PBS a long time ago. I didn't know this was out here, but it was quite entertaining. I'm not going to say nothing is not true. I like to look at things objectively, and I thought, well, I wonder why they did that. I'm not going to play no music either. I'm just going to flip this around. Trump the Bully. Welcome to America. In 1992, this man says, he asked people about their favorite celebrities. And many, of course, said they wanted to know what Donald Trump was like when he was young. Growing up in Queens, I guess New York, he managed to catch up with his parents. They asked him what he was like. What was he like? Donald's favorite name as a child, his favorite game was Monopoly. If you're just tuning in, it was his favorite game. He loved to play Monopoly, and he loved to win. But really got me, what on earth? Let me turn this back on. I'm not going to, let me put this right here. What really got me is they said that when he was in military school, his mother got really ill when he was a baby, they said. And he was a little bitty baby. Right there, she got ill. And it was a turning point in his life. She wasn't there for him like she used to be. It just did something to him developmentally. She, I guess they said she abandoned him, is what happened. Good morning. She abandoned him, which I didn't know all of this, but it's all right to see what happened. I won't play it all. They just got some pictures of him. And as a result, he finds it difficult, if not impossible, this I guess is his niece, to connect with women on any level. This is why he didn't connect good with his mother. This is interesting. Did y'all look at that? Yeah. She was hospitalized in a mental clinic, you think. In a mental clinic. I've never seen any pictures of his family. In 1992, that's when I was in Nevada. We lived in Nevada when my husband was in Nellis Air Force Base for 8 years. We left Nevada in 1998. He was very popular there with the casinos when we lived in Nevada. Let's look at this. So, his relationship plays out, and all the women, they said, all the women in his life, all the women. She kind of looked like Celine Dion or whoever she was. And here is Ivanka. There is an inability. They found these people to reach any recognizable level of intimacy. This is how they're painting him. His own crisis. His dad was a real estate person, and he was very harsh. I guess he was a real estate mogul. I think of the Mongolian Empire is what I think of. Co-finder, The Art of the Deal. His father was brutal, very brutal. He was hard driving, very little emotional intelligence. There's his father. Hello. Did you tune in? Good morning. You recall correct from what you have read. She was, yeah. This video probably is not going to get a lot of comments after it's posted. There are some videos that they refuse to let comment. Gwendolyn Blair, the Trumps. I don't know what this was. I guess this is, who is this? My father was sensitive. He adored something. Worst of all, let's see about him. Well, something happened to his father. Something happened to his father. Okay, he got sent to military school. Did you know that? He got sent to, oh my gosh. He took a lesson to heart. He wanted to avoid something. I guess he got humiliated or something. His father's fate of abuse and humiliation at the hands of his father. He took that lesson to heart. To live something in his father. Look if they painted him as a killer. Somebody was a killer. I don't know who that was. He was also, his father, at age 13, his father sent him to military school. Yeah. This is how PBS has painted him. Let me just flip it around. They sent him to military school with the students. This is something he must have been. He was growing up. It's a tough world growing up. The rite of passage. He said that when he arrived at the academy, for the first time in his life, he met somebody slapped him in the face. When he arrived at the military academy, somebody slapped him right in the face in the first time in his life. It would be, let's see what happened. It would be a 5-year lesson in how to be a bully. They said Trump the bully. I'm just reading you how they put it. Trump the bully. Okay, we got it. Donald Trump yelled at his classmates. He pushed them around. He even used a broomstick as a weapon against his classmates, they said. Gina, I've never heard this before. He used the broomstick as a weapon against his classmates. When they didn't listen to him and told him, let me see, what did they tell him? They didn't listen to him and what? I can't play the music. And told them what to do. He had to tell them what to do, you all. If you're just tuning in, he got sent to military school when he was 13 for 5 years. And this is the guy. All of us were part of this culture of you beat on kids. You beat on kids. Well, I don't beat on kids, but okay. The culture of beating on kids. And when they didn't do it right, This is supposed to be a classmate of his right here. When you didn't do the right thing, you get hit. You may get slammed against the wall. You were put in a artificially fight. You got put into fights in military school. Is that true? Does anybody here go to military school? Did you get put in fights when you went? Yeah. That'd be interesting if you got put in military fights, if you went to military school. I did. When we lived in Hawaii, there was this little boy. His name was Maurice. He was the same age as my son. And we were in Hawaii from 1999 through 2004. And Maurice had to stay with his auntie, but he got put in military school, and that boy was a fighter. It's like all he wanted to do is fight. No, it wasn't. It wasn't Maurice. What was his name? It's a different. He had a different name, but he wanted to pick fights with my son all the time. He wanted to take and hit him with his fist. I had to tell him, "You're not coming over here hitting my son with your fist." This was in Hawaii. That's all he. And he would always tell my son, "That's why I don't like you. That's why I don't like you." And I said, "You know what? You're not coming over here anymore." He would. He got put in military school, but that boy, he was a troublemaker. I can attest for that, but that boy was around that age. He was a handful. I guess that's how come he had to go live with his auntie or something. He was a punk. I'm sorry, he was a punk. They just brought that back into my mind. What was his name? His name was not Maurice. What was his name? And he was taller than my son. He was just wanted to. He would get my son in the backyard and wanted to have fist fights. And my son was not like that. It makes me mad thinking about it. Really makes me mad. There's no telling what he did when I wasn't around watching over my son. Oh, he makes me mad. That little punk. He was a punk. I'm not joking. I experienced that. I saw that. I stopped him and he wasn't allowed to come over anymore. So yeah, so let's see. You got put artificially into fights. He became the leader of the cadets. Donald Trump, this video is about Donald Trump. He became the leader of cadets. This is done by the PBS. They said he have something they calling him a bully. Well, I can attest that that boy that came over to our house when we lived on Hickam Air Force Base, he was a bully, and he would force my son to have fist fights. He'd start hitting him, and he'd tell him fight back. He would do it. Made me mad. This, mind you, this is like in around, but this was younger. This boy, well, I guess he must have been older than my son. My son was in the 5th grade, 5th or 4th grade in Hawaii. Andre was his name. His name was Andre. He was a little punk. Andre was his name. I didn't like him. I still don't like him because he did that. Oh, okay. He was the leader. He became a leader of the cadets. He became one of the student leaders who had a number of kids under him. in the dormitories, and he ruled them, the dormitory life, with an iron. See, this is what got me. He ruled dormitory life with an iron. I think underneath it was the word fist. They said he ruled them with an iron fist. There it is, the word fist. When I heard that, I went over here and saw this. Jesus announces that he will give the conqueror the authority to rule the nations with a rod of iron. This ruling action will be in cooperation with Jesus. Psalms 20 predicts that Jesus will rule the world nations with a rod of iron and dash them to pieces like a potter's vessel. This is the Revelation 2:7. He will rule them with an iron scepter, but they're talking about Jesus, but okay. To shepherd them with a rod of iron, and like the vessels of a potter, you shall shatter them. For in the same manner I have also received of my Father. If you, that brought that verse back to my mind. Where am I supposed to be at, you all? I'm just reading what he said. I didn't know he went to military school. Who is that? Is that him? In military school? Inside that brutal world, Donald found his place. He found his place in the brutal world. His mother told me that he was never homesick. He loved it. He loved all the stuff because it was also really competitive. Very competitive. It was, okay. Other kids didn't really like him that much. He wasn't that popular because he was so competitive. He was always looking for the edge. But it was an environment that he thrived in. He thrived in that environment. Did he go to military school, you all? Because I don't know. I got to see how I'm doing on time. I'm going to be busy all day long again today. Did he go? He likes law and order. Well, I like order. And I enjoyed the military way of life too. I did. It's a military wife. And I liked the structure. I liked living on base. I liked it that people weren't allowed to go around and do whatever they want and wreak havoc. That's what I like. But I didn't like that boy coming over, Andre, wanting to take there and fist fights. And then there was another boy. When we lived on Fort Meade, that's before we went to Hawaii. There was another boy on Fort Meade housing. My son was in the 3rd grade. His name was Johnny, and he had just moved from Hawaii with his dad and his sister. I think he's the one who started beating up on my son, too. He got him down on the ground, started beating up with fists. Took there, bullied him. Oh, I couldn't stand that boy. See, that's what happened, too. That just brought that back to my remembrance. But Johnny, he grew up in a family. His father raised him. His father's in the military. He had his daughter and his son, but Johnny was he was worse than Andre. He was a punk, and he wanted to fight all the time, go like that. And I had to break him up one time. I went outside in the courtyard. There he was, had my son down on the ground, and Johnny was like a foot taller, beating up on my son. And I told his dad about it. And his dad got all over him, and he was not allowed to come in our area. He was a punk. And I don't even know if he went to military. He came from Hawaii. But then when we got to Hawaii, then comes Andre. Andre wants to pick a fight too. You learn really fast to defend yourself in this world. And I will say this. If you are going to be in politics in this world, it is cutthroat. And you better be able to play the game that they play. That's what I got to say. You better be able to play hardball with the big boys. That is not a joke, because they play hardball and they play for keeps. You've got to be able to play them and beat them at their own game. You've got to, or you're not going to survive in that world. You will not be. It's very, 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 very cutthroat. A cutthroat world. He thrived in this. Well, with his father and mother by his side, Donald graduated. He became a killer. No. Oh. Oh my gosh, the way that's narrated. He became a killer. Oh my gosh. He became a killer. A killer learned the power of bullying to get ahead, a method he'd carry into the future. That he would carry into the future. Well, I didn't know they said it like that, but I do know that in today's world, you don't get nowhere in politics. You really don't. If you can't keep up with the big boys, you ain't gonna make it. You got to beat them at their own game. I can see where what happened to him in his childhood, even if all that happened, and it could have happened, he wouldn't have made it this far. He would not have made it this far if he did not learn those tactics in the military, how to fight back against the bullies of this world. I'd say it takes a bully to beat a bully until a bully beats their match. That's what happens. Until someone stands up to the bully, they're going to keep on bullying. They are. They're going to keep on bullying. There was this girl who was a bullier in school. It was middle school. She bullied everybody. Then she wanted to bully me. I let her bully me once. And then she would throw me against the locker. And then one day I said, you know what? You're not going to bully me no more. And I don't know what she was saying to me. She was speaking in Spanish or something. She thought she was all that. But I stood up to her one day. And I got tired of her bullying other people. She did that to me and she did it to others. I had enough. So I fought back. I said, you want to pick on me? Do you want to pick on me now? And I did. I fought back with her. She did not bother me anymore at all. She didn't bother nobody else. I don't have no animosity toward her today. I don't. But she did. She bullied people. And she got away with it until somebody stood up. So if Donald Trump went to military school and he learned what he learned, I believe that must have been predestined. Learn how to fight back, or he's not going to make it in this world. You may not like it, And he is. Those shows, you're fired. You're fired. I thought, my gosh, that is a. I remember watching that in Las Vegas. He would hire people. He'd hire the best person, and if they didn't do what they were, he'd set them in the room, and it was just like that. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. I thought, what kind of show is this? That's how it was. You're fired. Well, since that's his upbringing, I can see where that would happen. That's a very critical stage. 13 years old for 5 years. Nothing's by accident. It's not. It isn't. So Donald the bully, he became a killer. He became a killer. Well, there's a lot of killers, a lot of bullies on the world stage that did not go to military school. Let's talk about those bullies. Let's talk about those killers who did not go to military school. No, they learned it on the streets. And they have infiltrated governments around the world. What about those type? What about those type? The crooked politicians and stuff like that. They didn't go to military school. No. They corrupted the whole world. The drug dealers, all of it, you name it. No. They are undisciplined and do whatever they want. If he went to military school and if that's the best thing that could happen to him, it brought structure into his life, so be it. It'll either make you or break you. It'll make you into a stronger person. You'll learn to fight back whether you want to or not. And I guess he learned to fight back. And that's how he made it this far in the world. He fought back and he played the game. You have to play the game. It's a game to them. Well, now they don't like him. They don't. Well, I'm going to go. Didn't know all of that. It makes sense now. It does. But you got to beat them at their own game. We got a whole gang that's been bullying the whole world, taking control of the whole world. And they didn't go to military school. They didn't. So I'm going to go. And with that being said, y'all please give this video a thumbs up if you're watching it. But I don't want to. Gina will please do it. I didn't know that video was out there. I hit that subscribe button. If I wanted to change on this earth, and I knew that this, like if they say the swamp is really deep, and the people are really, really bad, I would want somebody to stop them. I would probably want to mold someone who could stand up to the bullies. I would. I would want I'd want a strong commander-in-chief. I would. You'd have to be a strong commander to win any battle that your troops go into. You would. You don't want no wimp of a commander. You don't want some wimp leading a battalion of soldiers, a whole entire army, who was wishy-washy, who didn't have what it takes to win the battle, if you think of it as a battle. You don't want no wimpy person in today's world, because it's cutthroat is what it is. You want somebody who's going to stand up and push back, because you can't be a pushover. You cannot. It's too critical. There's too much to lose, too much at stake. Don't know what the end result will be, but I guess you're going to find out. Could be worse. We could end up having the worst totalitarian regime the world has ever seen. That came from the mouth of the World Economic Forum if AI fell into the wrong hands. Artificial intelligence. Oh, well. I'm going to go. And with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your morning. I've got to go. You may not see me too much today. I might be busy all day. I'll try to squeeze in a video. I will. Thank you for coming on, and thank you, Applebrooks Honey. Thank you all for your, he wants to be a dictator. Um, some people were saying that. Well, we already have many dictators in this world. Look around. Look at the countries around the world, and they don't have a Donald Trump. But there is many, M-I-N-I, dictators in practically every single country. In every single country. You can't just signal out one person. No, you gotta look around. And there is a governing body that literally is acting as several governing bodies in the world that are acting as dictators. They control the world. Would that not classify as a dictator if they're in complete control? The deep state? And they've been in control? And the horrific things they've been doing? Yeah, I think that would. There's a lot of people who have abused power in lots of countries around the world, and you could call them a dictator. Abuse power. They have people put to death. They take them out. They take them out if they deem them a threat. They're gone, totally gone. That's an abuse of power, a gross abuse of power. So we have it going on. We had some in this country also did that too, but it's okay for them to do that, right? It's okay for them to step on people's toes, destroy lives, do all the horrible things that they've done. It's okay for them to do it. It's okay for them to wreak havoc in the United States, right? But that's not a dictator. That's not an abuse of power. It is an abuse of power. It's worse than a dictator. Some people want lawlessness. You want lawlessness? Is that what you want? You want to live in a world where there is lawlessness. I don't. I don't want to live in a world with lawlessness. I don't. Let's hope you don't ever fully live in that type of a world. Yeah, I'm going to go.